I feel when I'm wearing one of these things, I feel that one should, because I'm in the glitzy TV business, I feel I should burst into song, when you wear one of these. Anyway, don't worry, I'm not going to. I do believe there are substantial opportunities beyond our core advertising model, from e-commerce, from gaming, and from viewers paying for our content directly. We should be embracing the chance to diversify our revenues from over-reliance on advertising, of course, which, as we've experienced over recent years, can go up and can go down, and can leave you, shall we say, exposed when times are tough. But what I also want to say is we should not, for a minute, think that these commercial opportunities that are out there are all about moving away from advertising. In fact, I personally believe that perhaps the greatest opportunity lies in using multi-platform video on demand to revolutionize advertising itself. The consequences of this kind of revolution will be profound, not just for advertisers, but for viewers as well, and certainly, we hope, for ITV. Traditional TV has been about just, as I say, thinking, well, everyone's sort of trapped on the couch. There was no way of responding to the television. Apart from actually, there was one way, and I was going to bring it this morning with me, but unfortunately one of my children snapped it in half, which was nice. And I was going to bring you, I don't know if any of you in this room are old enough to remember, the polystyrene brick. Do you remember that? You used to sit on your sofa and you go, oh, well, my father did anyway, what a load of rubbish, and throw the brick at the BBC, usually. And obviously, because he never watched the commercial channel. And that was the only form of interaction that there was for television. And in many ways, what is frustrating is that we still try to behave like that. And we absolutely should not, because now consumers are interacting in the multi-platform environment whilst they are watching television. But of course, with the advent of multi-platform, specifically with VOD, not to state the obvious, we are starting to see what we call a paradigm shift. More scattergun, one-to-many mass advertising is giving way to one-to-one targeted advertising. So what opportunities is this opening up for us in our particular world of broadcasting? Well, many. But in order to embrace them, we have to look at several different things. One of them is, of course, targeting. On the face of it, television advertising is already fairly targeted. For example, contrary to popular opinion, we can reach several different audiences and demographics. For example, ITV offers 15 demographics across around 20 regions and sub-regions. And in fact, so the advertiser can target in 300 different ways if they want to. Of course, though, you will say that targeting has limitations, which it does. Wastage, and you're never absolutely sure which of those people in that target audience you originally reached. Now, VOD, of course, overcomes both those limitations. It is possible to focus advertising only on those viewers identified as lying within the advertiser's target. We need to be capturing information about VOD consumers, which allow us to serve appropriate advertising. We need to respect all privacy concerns. We want to identify their profile and online activity, but we do not want to identify who they are. And at ITV, we have the data to build up a more and more complete picture of our millions of users. For example, the average VOD user on ITV already watches over 4 long-form videos per month on the PC. They also interact with ITV already via voting, competitions, comments and feedback, and their activity across ITV.com. But what we're starting to do on top of that is to build up a detailed profile of our audience from the data they provide. And in fact, of course, the more targeted you want to be, the greater scale you need. To date, broadcasters, of course, have only been able to offer limited scale in VOD. For example, just to put it in perspective, last year ITV delivered around 1 billion VOD impressions, which sort of sounds quite a lot, actually it doesn't, compared to 350 billion TV impressions. So that's what we're dealing with. Thankfully, we're scaling up fast, and our long-form video views are up over 60% in the year, and in fact, in the last 3 weeks, we've been up 95%. Can't think what show is driving that. And we are rolling out onto more and more platforms. That'll be the X factor, in case you're wondering. Scale, data, and then the third thing is you want demand from advertisers, of course. It needs to matter to them. And, you know, what are advertisers prepared to pay for targeting? What value do they perceive as that should be attached? And there will need to be a balance struck when it comes to this, because actually, just because you can target somebody by their eye color, their shoe size, doesn't mean that you should be doing it. And actually, you know, is it worth paying for? What value does it actually attach? Or advertisers, what value do advertisers attach to it? And for many advertisers, actually, what we're still finding is the familiar socio-economic and demographic targets, which take, you know, the 50 million strong adult UK audience down to hundreds or tens of thousands per region anyway, may be enough for the time being. What is critical is whatever we do as broadcasters and publishers, we still need to work on a common targeting approach. We need there to be one across all major publishers, agencies, and advertisers so that it reduces transaction costs and really does create value. If every publisher, agency, and advertiser, not to mention network and exchanges, develops their own customized targeting approach, which is happening, then things are going to get needlessly messy and confusing. And for, you know, the poor advertiser who has to sort of reconcile something ridiculous like fun-loving empty nesters with dedicated petrol heads with, you know, knackered women like me today or whatever it is, right? And you know, it starts to not make any sense. And then allied to this, we really have to make sure that we do not fall prey to the myth that user targeting trumps content or context. I would say this, wouldn't I? But God, it's important. You know, how dare we, as broadcasters and as our commercial partners, not try to think about what the user is doing when they are consuming our content and our commercial messages. We must not fall prey to the fallacy that it is all just about the who and that the where and the how does not matter. The truth is that as the most sophisticated advertisers and agencies recognize, you need to be balancing all three, the who, the where, and the how. And getting the right user is essential, but so is getting the user in the right place at the right time when they can be actively engaged in advertisers' messages, rather than automatically filtering them out. There is a huge difference between a viewer glued to the X Factor and one sort of just watching a bit of user-generated content for 2 seconds. If you're glued to the X Factor, then you want to see those 5 gorgeous farmers brought back by Yo Valley. Yes! Because actually it's part of the experience, isn't it? And the kids go, no, wait, I want to watch that again. And that's what it should be like, because they're in that space, they're in that place. It is not the same as being in the middle of something that is less engaged. Just to sort of start bringing this to a close, I want to give you some examples, because you can talk this way, but then people go, yeah, but you know, nothing's changing. And to a large extent, that's true. But we are really trying to do stuff to make this change. And we are saying, okay, given that, you know, sitting on the couch with a polystyrene brick is over, then let's really think about interaction in a proper way. And let's work with our commercial partners to use the multi-platform capabilities that they bring and allow consumers to interact and to be involved. This example that we have, which was where we got Argos properly involved in our soap, Emmerdale, and they actually ran an interactive ad which encouraged people to enter a competition based on the content of the show. Nothing to do with product placement, nothing to do with that. It was just understanding what was going to happen in the script and then saying, what do we do to make that happen? Their objective was they had massive catalogues, huge distribution, but nobody opens them.
This question, the type of product Alan Turner received from his friends for his birthday appears on which page of our new catalogue? 1686, 537 or 114. Competition closes midnight, Sunday the 14th of August, and all correct entries will be included in a draw to determine the winner. Find it, get it, Argos it.
I thought, gosh, that's quite hard, isn't it? You've got to watch Emmerdale, you've got to sort of remember that he was given a watch, and then you've got to have a catalogue, which are 2,000 pages long, and then you've got to open it and find the right page. That's quite hard. Oh, my God, probably only one person will do it. 40,000 people did it. That's incredible. What a return. How engaged is that? That's using multi-platform and the power of television together to actually drive proper engagement and, most importantly, hopefully, properly sales. And it is our job to make sure that we continue to monetize that, to be open to all ideas, to think, okay, let's move television on from the, one way, one to many, and move it on to something which is inclusive, interactive, and taking advantage of the mass audiences we deliver and the interactivity that we can now combine with it. And so we believe that we're able to deliver two-way targeting alongside the mass brand advertising that we've always been able to do. And so we hope that for advertisers, that makes it the whole experience more powerful than ever, and most importantly, the whole experience is for consumers more powerful than ever. And for me, it gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, bricks to clicks. What do you think? Thank you very much for your attention.